Hello and welcome to Crafting with Jane. Today we are going to be playing with this lovely stamp set from AALL Create. It's called Hexapetalistic. I just love that word. I always remember the Julie Andrews film Supercalifragilisticexpialidocious was one of the songs. And this is a bit like it, hexapetalistic, just beautiful, lovely floral images, and you can see the size of them, they're huge. So that's what we're going to be playing with today. Now I have done a little bit of prep because I know that it was going to take a while. So what we're going to start off with is I've done the flowers. Now what I've done is, let me take you back to the stamp set. I have stamped and cut this one out, and there's two on here which are the same flower. So if I get it on there so it's not quite so shiny, so this one here and these two, I'm going to have those as the three as the center images on the card. So I've done and I've colored two. I've cut the third one out, and I thought I would show you how I coloured it because the colouring part is what interests you. Let me just take this out because that's a bit of a grubby piece of paper there. So let me move that there. That's the one I do use for the blending and stuff, so I might bring it back for that. So that's how those two look. We're just going to do this one. Now I'm using my Inktense pens by Derwent. I always do a swatch because the swatch gives me the colours that I want, and we're choosing chili, poppy, tangerine, and then for the centre, sun. So I can start with the centre first of all with the sun, and I'm literally just going to, with the pen, just go over on that part. Okay, then we're going to take the chili, which is quite a nice dark red, and I'm just going to do that in on the inside part here. So just in here on the base. This is quite a little one, so it's not quite as easy. I'm not zooming you in on this because it's a fairly straightforward, easy one to colour. So as I say, you do your dark in at the base because that's where your dark will come, and make sure that you've got some nice dark. Then I'm going to do the poppy, which is the just slightly redder, and I'm just going up over the top of that, and then in on each one of these little pieces here, just a little bit of it. And again, you can see I'm not spending a huge amount of time doing this because we're going to be doing the other bits, but I spent quite a bit of time doing that one. I just wanted you to know the process so you could see what I was doing. So as I say, that's all going to be in on the red. Then we're going to take the orange, which is tangerine, and I'm literally just bringing that about halfway down, maybe just over. And I'm turning it round so I can see where I'm going. As I say, I've cut it out first, but my cardstock is quite thick cardstock, so it shouldn't be too difficult. So let me just put that in on there. And then I'm just going to take my aqua pen with some water in on here, and I'm just going to do the yellow first and then just colour these ones in. And I can take it up from the bottom so it's quite dark and bring it up. Bring it up on here. It's there's I don't know whether you can hear that whistling. There's a gale blowing outside, so it is it's just blowing around. I do my videos a few weeks in advance, so we've had really hot weather, and now it's gone really wet weather, so by the time you see this video it might be lovely and mild again, but it's certainly, we've got a tail end of one of the storms or the hurricanes that has come through from across the other side of the world. And it's nothing like a hurricane or anything. It's just a very strong wind and rain's due. Okay, so you can see on that we've got the colour tones, but we want to have white or paler tips to the ends. So for this, I take my Posca pen, and I'm literally just I'm only going to do a couple of together, because you don't want them to dry. So you're just going to, with the aqua pen, is just do the little tips of them. So I can do 3 at a time because I'm moving quite quickly. If you're not moving quickly, so when I was doing it for the other ones, I would do 1 at a time. But literally you just want the tips with the aqua, with the Posca pen in the white, and then you can just take it so you have a really nice sort of pale tip to them. And as I say, I'm only doing a tiny weeny sort of little dot, and then you just blend it out. If you've got any other gel pens or whatever that are white, you can use them. Something like a chalk marker probably won't, because it won't give you the pale part that you need. You'll probably end up just making it just slightly paler, but not enough. I don't know, I haven't tried it. Now that I've got my Posca pens, I'm using them all the time because they are really lovely to work with. They give me my highlights and my spots and my snow and my goodness knows what else. I'm using them for so much, so they were a really good buy for me. So I'm quite pleased that I bought them. As you know, I'm trying to remain fairly frugal and not buy a lot, but the things that I'm buying, I'm making sure that I can use a lot. Okay, so that's the colours. I'm just going to put the lid back on here so you can see these pencils rather, and they are by Derwent and they're called Ink Tents, and these are 24. As I say, they were given to me by somebody, but I know that they're very good, but any watercolour pencils would work for this. Okay, so that is our 3 flowers that we're going to put to one side, and we're going to concentrate on our background. Now, I could have just masked this off, but I decided I was going to do this with a die cut. So I've cut it the same size to give me my border. And I've used from these were just a set of squares. So the largest one that would fit just happens to have a beveled edge, so that's fine. I'm going to be using some beige and some greens, I think. So I'm going to use, let me get something down. So I'm going to use a crumb cake, which is a beige, and I'm going to use, I think, probably certain celery, which is a green, and I might choose a little bit of a pink maybe, or a purpley pink. So we'll have a look. Don't know whether that will go with those, whether I need to make it pink. Let's have a look and see. I think I might put a bit of pink in on there. So that will work better, I think. So let's work with these colours, and I'm going to do the brown first. Now this is where I'm going to get my old scrappy bit back in again, because I buy pieces of copy paper literally to just work with, because I find that they're very good for just moving that out of the way. I find they're very good for just giving a little bit of a cushion. I don't use a lot, but just a little bit, so it means that I can then put my ink pad up here, and we're just going to take some in on here. Now I want to work from the corner, and I'm just bringing this down in from the corner, and I make sure that I do it. You can see where I'm getting the darker pieces I'm just making sure that I'm taking it from off first of all, because I want a nice smooth finish. So if you take it from outside of where you're working, then you won't get that, you get the blobbly bits on the outside and you don't get them on the inside. Okay, so I'm just literally going all the way over with this. And it means that I can put it back in because it's exactly the same size. Now you can tape it down if you want. My taping, I have yet to find some non-stick tape, and I've tried quite a few, but I don't know. Maybe I can't, even when I de-tack them, they always seem to stick and will pull a little bit up, which is incredibly frustrating. So right, so that's our start, which is our beige. And now I want to put a little bit of, I'm going to do the pink next, I think. So I'm going to take the pink with, let's just pick it up first. And I just want to take some of that in on here. So you can see I'm just taking it up from this corner, and I'm just going to take some maybe down here in the center. Don't want a huge amount, I just want a little bit to just give a little bit of different color coming through. Okay, so that's the pink. I might do a touch more, but I don't think so. I just want to have that different look to it. So, and then I want some green, because that just sort of gives a nice sort of earthy tone to it. So let's just we'll take some green in off of this corner, like in on there, and I want to just take some that comes in on the center, maybe a bit up on here, a bit in like that. So we've just got little tones of other colours coming through, which I think looks really nice. Okay, now I want to do a background with these, some of these flowers. So I'm going to take, what am I going to take? I'm going to take the big one, this one. So let's just take this one out, and I only want the flower part, so I don't want the bottom part of it, which means that I can just, hold on, let's take it out first. So I'm just taking it out, and I just want the head of it. So I'm just going to put it on here on a block and make sure that I haven't got the stem part, because I don't want that stem part. And again, I'm going to do it with this masking on here. So make sure that I've just got it, there we go, up to where I want it, by just like a tad. And then I'm going to choose, I don't want it too dark, so I'm going to have the grey on this. This is a Versafine Clair, and it's Morning Mist, so it's a paler colour. Now, this is going to be quite a rough, a high edge, so I don't know whether it's going to go across it. If I take it off, I'm actually going to do it so that it can come off the edge on here, because I think that that will work quite nicely. So I'm going to take it from the corner and just press it down, and hopefully it will come out quite nicely. Yes, beautifully. Look at that. I quite like that it's coming over the edge, because I think that that is just adding a little bit of something on there. So I'm going to put another one in on there, because again I want it to come off. So that's 2. Because it makes that sort of wobbly edge not quite so wobbly. Now let's put this one in there, like that. I'm just sort of turning it round a bit as I go. That's better. Let's take one, have one just going in a little bit round the other side like this. So we can have that way. So there's going to be a little gap in the centre, but I think that's fine because I think the flowers are going to cover that. So that's given us the sort of background look, and it's meant that this little wobbly bit is not quite so wobbly, because I quite liked it, but I quite like to have it not quite so wobbly. So if I put these, I want them to sort of come like that down on there. That I think is going to look great. I want to put them up with a little bit of dimension, and I want to take the edge of this and I want to make this edge quite to stand out a bit. So I'm going to do I'm going to use gold, because I think gold stands out. It gives that sort of beige type look, and I think it works quite well. So I'm going to take my beige pen, sorry, my gold pen, put beige on the brain, and I'm just going to take this, just give a border around the edge, giving it a reasonable sized border. So that it shows nicely. But I think that this gold Posca just gives a little bit of elegance to it. You know, you can use any gold pen that you've got, but as I keep saying, I'm using these Posca pens all the time because they, to me, are really good. I'm enjoying using them a lot. Okay, so have a look at that again. Yes, I like that. I think that looks lovely. So I want this gives me my colour. So I want to put some, just pop some dimensionals on here, or some foam pads. Let's see, I don't want them too fat. Those are thin ones. Those are sort of fatty ones. They should work. So I'm just turning them over. I don't want to have a huge amount on them, but I do want enough that that they work quite well. So let's have one in the middle of there, one in the middle of there, and one in the middle of there. Probably put 2 in the middle of that big one. Let's put one that side, and I can put one that side. And I've cut some of these down, so it means that I can then just put some little bits in so that we're not going to have it falling about too much. And that's, you need to have enough foam pads on there that it doesn't, you haven't got problems with your edge pieces. So I'm just taking these just out on there a bit. I don't think we need too much because it's quite nice to have a little bit of movement on there, but I do think we need to probably have a reasonable amount. Okay, so this is the biggest one, so I'm going to pop this up at the top. Because I don't want to have anything, I don't want too much on there. I don't want it to look overly busy. But I think just by doing, and again, you know, have a look and see what flowers you've got. So this is going to come in on the centre, and it's going to come just about there. Then we're going to take the other one. I can get sticky pads off. I have no idea whether it's my hat. It's probably my hands actually. That now I'm going to have. Am I going to have this underneath or over the top? Over the top, I think. So we'll have this one in at that sort of angle there, and then we'll have the little one just tucked in. Maybe in a little bit like that in there. Okay, so that's given us those 3 flowers on there with that piece of the background, which I think looks lovely. I want to put some words in there, but I'm not quite sure what words I want. I like the feed the soul, plant happiness, because I think that for me works better than the gardeny bits in there. So gardens are lives. You know, if you haven't got a garden, feed the soul, plant happiness, I think is lovely. And then there's a big hugs on there as well. So I think that works quite well. So let's just take them and put them in on here. So I need those 3 different words on here. So we've got 1, 2, and then big hugs. I quite like that as well. Okay, so I need a little scrap piece here. Don't need too much. And I'm just going to, let's put this out to one side for a minute. And I'm just going to do it in the same grey because I don't want it to be over. So let's put this one in on here. Feed the soul. I can come upside down or whatever because we're only taking the words from it. Plant happiness, and then big hugs. Okay, right, let's put those on there, put that back on there, and then all I need to do is to just cut these out. I want them quite fine, so I'm just going to cut quite straight. Like that. That's my big hugs. That's my feed the soul. Let's take that down there. Take this one down here. That's feed the soul, and then on the other one is plant happiness. Because I think that's quite, they for me work well. I like little sayings and things that work nicely together, and that's the nice thing about words, you can chop and change them and mix and match them. So let me, now I don't think I'm going to put anything around the edges of these ones. Sometimes I put gold around the edges, but I think for this I just want them to be big hugs there. Feed the soul just in under here, I think. And then, or maybe over the top of it. Feed the soul, plant happiness. No, I don't want it over the flower. I want it underneath like that. Okay, so I am going to just sponge around the sides, but I'm just going to use whatever is on this brush here. And hopefully there will be enough to do it. Is that going to come out? No. I need to use my these ones. I've always got some in on here, so let me just grab, have I got that colour? Don't know, I've used quite a few different browns. I think that's it. Yes, that'll do. So I'm just going to do just a little bit round the edge with this, just to take the edge off, but I'm not doing the gold on it, I don't think. So Feed the Soul can go in on that bit. Whoops. And as I say, just by doing it, it stops it looking quite so stark. And yes, you can put little mounts and things on there and do that if you want. I'm trying to show you different ways. So Plant Happiness that way, and then Big Hugs. In fact, that needs to come just either up or down, because otherwise it's going to be a bit, that's too straight across. Needs to be just at different sort of angles and things so that it looks more natural. Right, just put that up on there. Okay, so we're going to have Feed the Soul, maybe that way. Feed the Soul, Plant Happiness, Big Hugs, Feed the Soul, about there. Yep. So let me just grab some wet glue, pop this in on here, and then we're almost done. So Feed the Soul, just in that little space there, like that. Plant Happiness, and as I say, I've got my little border, but it's not a rigid border. So sometimes it's quite nice to do like a little frame, but then when you come to add things to it, you're going to put it a little bit further out. Now this has just come to there, that's fine. And then I'm just going to have the Big Hugs in this piece down here. So I've got 3 words in on here, and that's going to go in like that. Big Hugs. Okay, so I like that. I like where that's going. And now I just want some Posca on there, and I'm going to use, which is a little bit controversial, I'm going to use red, which will go with there, and I'm going to do red splatters. Now I'm just moving everything out of the way so it doesn't go everywhere. But with these, I think I just want some red splatters on here. So I'm just going to take, make sure that I've got some in on here. And I just then need to take, it doesn't matter what I hit it with, but can you see that's starting to come up? Some of it's coming. It's quite funny, isn't it, when you do these splatty things, because sometimes they come up beautifully and other times these are actually coming out quite nicely. So all I'm doing is literally just giving some red splatters over the top like that. Now I just need to be careful. Can you see how it's sort of gone round on there? I just need to wipe that a little bit. Otherwise, when I put it back into the pot, it's going to be, it's going to dry and make that mucky. So these ones, you can see I've got all sorts of different colours, and I normally use white or black, but it's quite fun to actually use different colours. And because this, to be careful because it's wet, but because this, hopefully if you can see, I'm going to bring it up a little bit. Can you see? You've got those splatters in there, and I think that that just literally ties it all together. Now I'm going to put it onto a background. I'm not going to do that now because I want to wait for that to dry, but I hope you enjoyed that. As always, please stay safe and well. Please be kind, and look forward to seeing you again soon. Bye bye.